160,000 Americans visited Cuba last year, with many more expected now that commercial flights have resumed between the two countries. US citizens, though, still can't come as tourists. That remains banned under the decades-old US trade embargo, which only Congress can repeal. Most Cubans are delighted that diplomatic relations have finally been restored, but frustrated that the embargo remains.
It's been 50 years. How much longer must we wait? We could have advanced so much more if it wasn't for the blockade.
It's
an injustice. They really should lift this blockade against Cuba.
The trade embargo goes back to the early days of the Cuban Revolution, when in 1960 Fidel Castro nationalized all US-owned businesses on the island without compensation. Since then, it's been expanded to cover trade, travel and finance. US President Barack Obama has used his executive powers to ease some of the sanctions, making it easier for Americans to visit Cuba and opening up some trade and business opportunities. But the embargo continues to bite, especially in terms of international banking. In the past 2 years alone, the United States has fined 3 European banks a total of more than $11 billion for violating US sanctions against Cuba, Iran and Sudan.
Tampoco existen relaciones bancarias.
There are no normal banking relations between our two countries. We were told in March that the US would allow Cuba to use US dollars, but so far we have not received any credits or been able to pay third parties or have cash deposits in dollars.
This affects both trade and investment, with most banks still afraid to do business with Cuba. British entrepreneur Andrew MacDonald has Cuban approval for a multi-million-dollar renewable energy project, but had to turn to the Chinese to finance it.
The blockade with the United States of America creates a lot of problems for financing projects in Cuba. The Chinese don't have some of the issues which Europe has.
The embargo was intended to isolate Cuba's communist government and remains one of the last vestiges of the Cold War. Yet at least for now, it's the US which is isolated over the issue. Michael Voss, CCTV, Havana.